Hello Internet, what is going on? Hope you're having an awesome day today. My name is Ivan and today we are playing some team deathmatch on the map Standoff. So hope you enjoy that. I'm going to be talking about prejudice and stereotypes today, and just to get us started, I have a couple of definitions here. So prejudice is defined as a hostile or negative attitude toward a distinguished group of people based solely on their membership in that group. And a stereotype is defined as a generalization about a group of people in which certain traits are assigned to virtually all members of the group, regardless of actual variation among the members. So straight off the bat there, you can see the difference between prejudice and stereotype. And, prejudice is much more kind of negative, aggressive thing than a stereotype is. Now, personally, I actually don't think stereotypes are too bad. They seem to, as the definition said, it picks out certain traits, kind of the most common traits I find of a race or a culture or a nationality, and kind of apply that to everyone, which is, I suppose, bad. But personally, to me, stereotypes stem from a certain truth. So obviously a stereotypical Irish person is a drinker, and you go into town on a Saturday night and you'll see why the stereotypical Irish person is a drinker, because everyone is falling over themselves in the street. So of course, like, not all Irish are drinker. I'm not a huge drinker. It would be unfair to, I suppose, paint everyone with the same brush. But the thing with the stereotypes, a stereotype is it's a mental shortcut. It's a schema, because there's just too much stuff in the world to remember. So there's so many different cultures, so many different nationalities, so many different races, that you cannot remember all the different traits of every one of them. So it makes sense to kind of pick out the most common traits among these groups and apply it to the group as a whole, because we can't store all the information that that there is there to store. It'd just be too difficult and wouldn't be any fun. So so I don't think they're that bad. I've had this kind of conversation with my brother before as well, and I think stereotypes are okay. But prejudice is something different. Prejudice is like, okay, I'm not going to talk to Ivan because he's Irish, and them Irish are nothing but pricks coming over here to Australia, taking on our jobs, just drinking and being abusive. I hate the Irish, never talking to an Irish person. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. I'd never treat someone differently because I know that they're, Irish or English or American. Or, you don't. That's unfair. It kind of goes with racism, I guess. And I suppose in the 60s and everything, even before that, like, racism was such a huge thing in America. One thing we would have done in psychology is the way, kind of, I suppose, as African American people were treated, and it's crazy, like. But you'd imagine now that it's slightly different now, that it's less kind of intense, the racism and the prejudice towards African Americans now. But it tends to be that it's just more inward prejudice. So it's not like, excuse me, you're an African American, you are absolutely not sitting at the front of the bus, get the fuck off, get back, who do you think you are? It's more like, oh god, this African American now is sitting beside me. And I know I'm saying it the polite way of, like, using African American, because I don't want to be a dick, but so it's like, it's just more inward. But then again, it's just such a stupid thing. Like, why? I don't know. It kind of perplexes me, this whole crap about, like, you're Irish, you're a dickhead, you're less than me, you're white, I hate white people. It doesn't just, people obviously, when they go think of racism and prejudice and everything, they just, you always get the image of a white person being racist to someone else of a different cultural or ethnic background, which is a bit, I suppose, ironic, really, isn't it? But I do often ask the question, if you were assigned to a task force to reduce prejudice in the youth, what would you do? And the first answer I always get back is education. Education is the way to go. If you teach people about different ethnic groups, then it'll help kind of reduce it. But as I said at the start, prejudice is an attitude, and education doesn't really work when trying to reduce it. So logic kind of fails when it comes to arguing with someone who is prejudiced. So someone's like, I hate, like, I'm not talking to Ivan, he's a prick, like, he's Irish, I hate the Irish taking our jobs, drinking, pricks. It's like, well, Ivan doesn't drink, like, and he's like, he lives in Ireland. He's not taking your Australian jobs, and and they're like, yeah, well, he's the exception to the rule. He's like, well, yeah, well, Brendan doesn't drink either. And I was like, well, sure, yeah, but you're just splitting hairs now. People that just kind of, no matter how much you come at them with your logic and everything, they'll just keep coming back at you with just some ridiculous statement. So it just doesn't seem to work. Now, maybe, I suppose, kind of getting it young and exposing people to different ethnic kind of cultures and backgrounds and all this kind of stuff when they're kids in kindergarten and in primary school and all this kind of stuff, that could be a good way to go. But it's hard to know. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little talk on prejudice and stereotypes, and if you do, please leave a like and be sure to subscribe. Take it easy, guys.